By God, I failed. I failed you all. I I have failed you, sweet young men. We gotta start over here. Wolf is shooting me in the fucking head. Hello, everybody. It is February 2nd, 2026 at 7:03 p.m. You are watching episode 84.1 of the Dovecote with Barclay Travis. No one will hear my waffling about whether your name was the opposite of what it is. Barclay, would you like to introduce yourself for real to our lovely audience?
Let me take another stab at that. Hi, I'm Barclay. I'm a game designer and podcaster and dramaturg and artist and a bunch of other things. You probably know me from a podcast, Tabletop Book Club, which I produce and host with my friend B. Alexander, where once a month we read a tabletop game and we talk about how good it is. You also might know me from, I recently did illustration for Heaven in the Dust by Luke Jordan. I did some illustration for Storybake. And then I also have a couple games. The ones you might know probably are Conflict of Interest, which is a gay spy game, and Do Not Let Down, Do Not Roll Over, which was for Trans Fucking Rage Jam many years ago.
Yeah.
At this point.
I feel. Why do I feel like I've talked about your games on here before? Is like the first thing I'm kind of running into.
I have been on before.
You've been on the show before. Is the reason for that? You were on here on July 15th, 2024.
Whoa.
2 years ago, and a year and some change, basically.
Yeah.
But we've discussed. I believe we were probably talking about conflict of interest around that time, right?
Yes, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I also do remember us talking about the podcast because it was fairly new at that point.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because for some reason I thought it was so much longer ago that I was on, but thinking about it, it's like, no, that actually makes perfect sense.
2024 is a long time ago.
It is a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, because even when I think about 2023 is when I started the show, right? And that was that was in September, so I had probably basically I think what basically happened in 2023 is I did a couple episodes, then went to fucking PAX U for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
How was your I know the answer to this partially, but I'll let you answer the question towards the audience. How was your PAX U?
This past year was so cool. B and I talked a little bit about our PAX experiences this year on our PAX episode from December. But that also, we recorded it so long after PAX that it was what did we even do?
Right.
So it was but this was the first year that I really felt like there were things that I worked on and reasons for me to be there. Because I've been going, this is my third or fourth? I want to say fourth. Yes, it was my fourth. And the first 2 years I went, especially, I had written a game and was vaguely familiar with tabletop stuff, but wasn't super entrenched in it yet. And then the year before last, or the year before this past one, I was an enforcer at PAX, so I didn't get to spend as much time doing actual PAX activities as I wanted to do. So this year was the first year that I really was I'm able to see all my friends and see things that I made. It was the first year that anything I had worked on was being sold at a booth, which was crazy. And exciting and awesome. And Heaven in the Dust was at the +1 booth, and I didn't know if it was going to be there. And so when I saw it, there's a picture of me where I'm lit up because it was moments after I saw it.
Fuck yeah.
And it was so cool. So yeah, it was very cool to be able to go and see all my friends and network in a way that didn't feel like I was forcing myself into a space. Even though I ended up, I do less networking the more years that pass because I know more people, so I don't need to as much. So I rested on my laurels, I think, a little bit too much this year.
Yeah, you say hi.
Yeah, I say hi and I go, oh my god, hey. And then usually what happens at this point is I see someone, I go, oh my god, hey, and then we go, we should do something, and then we never do. And
yup.
Because I even do that. I do it with my friends who I do work with all the time. B and I have been meaning to make a game together for 2 years. It just hasn't happened.
Yeah. I feel when did we ran to Finch at least once, and then y'all came over for the blanket, I think. Or I'm not sure.
Blanket time.
Yeah, blanket time.
B and I were there for blanket time.
Yes, it was you and B. Hell yeah.
Yes, that was also so fun.
I had a good time
Very
with
good
that.
time. Uh, blanket time is floor time is very necessary. I feel for
Yeah.
at a lot of times. It's kind of a staple in any theater room I've been in the past few years. Is like at the end of rehearsal we have floor time. Um, and I don't even mean like actors. I mean like stage management sits on the floor.
Right.
But at a con especially, it's so like let me sit on the floor for a moment and like really I need ground myself.
Yeah, I think me and Lilith really found that we were like bumping up against a lot of like shaped spaces, like pre-shaped spaces, and also some like accessibility challenges
Yeah.
that I think would be benefited by either getting a med pass or a media pass.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like finding those little moments to do things for ourselves and like make our own spaces, our own like rough and unendorsed spaces, I think was like
Yeah.
a
Those
highlight
are the
for
best
us.
parts of a con like that though for me.
Yeah.
Because they're often also more welcoming. Because I know that my first few years, the best part of the con was being able to sit on the floor and just like talk to my friends, which is what I'm there for. Um, and like going to more established events that aren't like panels where you're sitting in an audience can be so intimidating.
Oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but yeah, I mean, I didn't even know a lot of the people that were there when we sat down. So it was like
Yeah.
nice to, even that is like, it's so welcoming to be like, okay, let's all sit on a blanket on the floor and we're all like, we're all just taking a moment together. And that's so nice.
I got to know a lot of people who I knew just their names online, and like people I had like run games for, made art for, like had significant relationships with, and I didn't even recognize them when I saw their face and heard their voice. So like, because I guess I'm just. It's some people have icons where it's like hard to tell who they are.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely have had that where people have, because my icon is almost always like this, it's like this headshot of me.
Yeah.
Almost everywhere. So a lot of people, a lot of the time, what happens to me at PAX is people come up and they go Barclay, and I go, yeah, and I don't know who they are, and I feel really bad about it. But it's also usually because it's like someone that I am in like a Discord with, and we've talked a couple times, or like it's just those like passing things where it's like, wait, I know who you are, and then they say their name, and almost always I'm like, oh my god, of course. But it's so funny. PAX is it's a big one like that for me, where I go, oh, I do know you. Hang on.
Yeah, the thing about PAX is like it's so huge, and I miss Big Bad Con. I hope it comes back. I really do, or something like it. I
Yeah.
need small.
Yeah, I haven't gone to like any other cons really. Like I'm not a big I do like conventions, um, but especially because I was in like during this time that I've been getting more entrenched in the tabletop game space, I've also for most of it been in college.
Oh yeah,
So a lot of my like it was just like schedule wise. I was like, well, I can't go to that. And PAX was
yeah,
the only reason I started going to PAX like every year is because it's I can drive to Philly. It's like 2 hours drive from me, and I have friends who live there or close that I can stay with. So a lot of the time it's like it's probably not going to be worth it for me to go to a con. But PAX is always like it's big enough that I get to like go and explore and have fun, but it's small enough that I feel like I can actually get to everything I want to get to. Usually, 'Cause
that makes sense.
I went to PAX East. I was an enforcer at PAX East a couple years, 2024, 2023, one of those, and uh, I had been to PAX East once before when I was in like middle school. I was like a very like video game enjoyer middle schooler and begged my mom to take me, and we went for like a day. And it was still a very fond memory of mine, but then going back to it as someone who like actually understands the space was so crazy to be like,
Yeah.
wow, this is huge and insane.
I have not been to a
I-
gaming PAX, but it seems crazy.
It is wild. And impossible to navigate. Although PAX Unplugged is also like that sometimes. There are some rooms in that building that I'm still like, I don't know where that is, and I don't know how to get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, if it's not directly connected to the expo floor, I don't really know how to get there.
I wish they all had like number names. Like I get
Yeah.
Grimgott Theater, but like it's just it's silly.
Yeah,
It's a little too silly.
it's a little too silly. Especially because those two panel theaters are like across, kind of like down and hidden away in a corner. It's like kind of hard to find
Yeah.
them. Um, but yeah, it's so funny because yeah, I've gone 4 years now, and this year I still was like, I'm not sure I know where that room is.
Yeah. No, I struggle every year to like figure out how things are arranged. I accidentally
Yeah.
brought two of my friends into the building without passes this year. Don't tell any PAX Yukon staff, but that did happen. For a brief period, we had to move them
I
over to the tickets.
That's really funny. I this year, the way that they sent out the badges this year was like really like the packaging on it was really weird.
Oh,
Um, because it was, I just have like a participant badge. I bought my badge, and I bought my 3 day pass, and then they sent it with like a. I have not told this story publicly. It's kind of embarrassing on my. It makes me
okay.
look stupid, but it came with this like game that was in a like envelope as big as the envelope they sent it in, right? And I at the time had signed up for a couple like playtest demo game things. So I was like, oh, I must have just forgotten I signed up for this because there was nothing on it that was associated with PAX. And then I threw it out. Threw out the envelope, didn't check if there was something else in there because why would I?
Right.
And my badge was in there, of course. And
Oh
then I get a
no.
text from B a few days later that's like, please tell me you did not throw that out. And I went,
Oh,
okay. So, and then I sent them an email and they were like, nope, you got to buy a new one. And I said, awesome. And then I went the day before PAX to Will Call and I said, can I buy another one? And they said, no, not until tomorrow. And I said, great. Um, and then that night, um, there was like a tabletop game gathering at a gay bar in Philly, and I'm talking to my dear friend Medea Valetti. And I'm saying, I have to go buy another badge tomorrow morning. And he was like, let me see what I can do. And the
good.
next day at like 11 a.m., I'm standing by the con entrance while Vidya runs inside and picks up a badge for me. From a
Amazing.
friend.
I gotta
And
okay.
he really saved my life, but it was so ridiculous, the situation that occurred.
This is a thing that I should communicate privately, but I think it's funny to say publicly. I need to like I'm on Long Island. I gotta like develop some kind of relationship with Lydia, Dylan, Rowan, and whoever else lives in that apartment.
yeah.
And we gotta chill. Like, what's going on?
I'm always saying this because
I
I
can
also
get
have
to the
to
city.
commute into the city to go to something.
Yeah, I can fucking
Let's meet
hang.
in the middle. Like, let's meet in the middle in New York City.
Well, really, the thing that I gotta do is I gotta go to people's fucking events in the city, and that's
That's that's often what I end up doing. I don't get to like hang out with people outside of events
yeah.
because I am very much like I need to kind of get my money's worth if I'm going to go into the city. Because I won't drive into the city. I can't do it.
Oh
So I
no, me
always take the train
neither.
in. So it costs me like $30 just to get into the city. So I'm like, I need to go do something. um, so it's always, yeah, it's usually like a party someone's throwing, or it's like someone's game event that I'm going to. Um, but I mean, it might be my turn to make everyone haul ass upstate quite soon. So
Yeah, I listen. I fucking spent like 8 weeks total on and off in fucking Rensselaer. So
yeah,
I'll hoof up to. I'll take a fucking Amtrak up to upstate. I don't care.
it's not even that far upstate is the thing. It's
Where are
not
you?
that bad.
I shouldn't ask that.
Uh,
You don't need to say that. You don't need to say. I got too conversational. I forgot that this is like a show.
forgot we're live. Um,
Yeah.
no, I'm in talks to potentially do. I'll say this publicly. I don't really mind. It's probably fine. I'm in talks to maybe do some sort of event for Begin Again at the gaming cafe up in New Paltz, where I went to school.
Oh fuck
That is
yeah.
where it inspired me the game. So I might be. Oh, my dog's going crazy. Hello. Um, Uh, so yeah, it's making people come upstate slash not really like 90 minutes outside of the city, like not that far
Yeah.
upstate.
Speaking of Begin Again, do you want to tell folks about that and what it is?
I would love to. Um, Begin Again is my new game that is being published by Plus One XP as part of Zine Club next month. It is about college students stuck in a time loop. It's a belonging outside belonging game that was very much inspired by the fact that I recently last year graduated undergrad and was having a real big crisis about it, as one does.
Yeah.
uh, so yeah, it's about college students who are afraid of the future and afraid of quote unquote growing up and the real world and all of that.
Yeah. Okay, so recently I discovered some pictures of me. Oh yeah, also congratulations on graduating, first of all.
Thank
Um,
you.
Recently I discovered some pictures of me from 2019 where I would have been like a sophomore or junior in college
Mhm.
in my bachelor's. And I was like really hot then in like a way that I'm not like I'm a different kind of hot now, but I was like a very specific
Uh-huh.
kind of hot then. Um, and so like since I saw that picture, I've kind of been in this like weird reflective state about
Mhm.
about college, about like the way that as you say, there is like especially as you're getting towards the end of college, there is this sense of like we've been doing the same thing for so long, like
Yes,
couldn't this
exactly.
just keep going? And
Exactly.
uh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It was a weird feeling I was having where I there's also something about a time like that that we romanticize in such a way. So there's a little bit of that in this, where it's a little bit of a romanticization, but also a confronting of like, but you gotta move on.
yeah,
um, where yeah, the feeling I was having was I was feeling very conflicted about my time at New Paltz because um, in like the end of my junior year, there was a very big situation there where there was I'll talk briefly about this, not too in depth. But there was an encampment in the quad of our college, and after like a day and a half, there was an immense amount of police called on them, and like over 100 students and people in the town arrested. And it was a very like obviously, but a very dark week at New Paltz that kind of was a cloud over like the rest of my time there because the
yeah,
administration was pretty awful. Um, and then yeah, like struggling with the way that I was also an art student there, the way that like the arts were being treated there in my time there. Which is obviously a much less intense situation, but was still stressful for everyone involved. So it was a conflicting series of emotions where I was like, there are so many people here that I love and care about, and so many things that have happened here that I love, and so many projects I've done here that I've loved. But also, like, I cannot wait to get out because I don't want to, and I also don't want to credit all of those good things that happened to the administration or the school because
yeah.
it wasn't really them that did it. Which yeah was a line I was kind of walking in writing this also was I was like it's not about the school that you're at. It's about the life that you're living while you're there.
Yeah, it's about the people. It's about the,
It's about the people.
might be about the faculty. It depends.
Yeah, that was very like it depends on the faculty member. There's
Yeah.
a faculty member who's very dear to me that is uh that I have actually like been texting with about this game because we both left at like the same time
Oh,
and
hell
we're like
yeah.
I don't like this place. um and is a very big tabletop game enjoyer. So we've I've been keeping them updated.
Hell yeah. I don't think my faculty who I'm still in touch with would really understand what I'm doing now. Well, aside
Most
from
of them
being
don't.
CP or the job that I do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I went to one of their shows that they did in the theater department back in like November, and only one faculty member was there when I went. But she was like, "What have you been up to since graduating?" And I was like, nothing that you would understand, unfortunately. Which is like also a weird situation I've been having where I am very happy with the way that things have gone post graduation. I was so worried about a lot of different things, and it has been going really well ultimately, which is thank God I'm very grateful for. Um, but not in a way that I can articulate, and also not in a way that is related to what I studied. So I keep being
Yeah.
like, I haven't done a lot of theater since I graduated, but I've been doing a lot of game stuff that no one gets. So
Huh. Yeah, it's tough.
it's a weird one. I'm like, I feel pretty good, but I don't know that anyone else would feel as good about it if they heard me talk about it.
I have
Any of
one
the
guy
faculty
on
members.
oh, sorry. I got my bachelor's in journalism, and I have one faculty member who I keep in touch with, or who I've kept in touch with in the past, who's on Facebook, and one who has about a 25% encounter rate if I ever go to my hometown. Not because I went to my hometown for school, but just because he lives there. Um, so sometimes I see him. I've seen him with like, I think many of my relevant friends and IRL partners, which is crazy. But yeah, it's sorry. Point being, it is interesting how you can like maintain those relationships with those people.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's also like it was very interesting in I don't know if this is a thing in a lot of theater departments and theater schools, but we were also like familiar with our faculty. It also wasn't a big faculty, but we were not a huge program. Um, so like I am still somewhat in touch with a lot of them. Like a few of them like follow me on Instagram.
okay.
Like it was very, very chill. Um, and but like yeah, there's really only one that I like consistently talk to. Uh, but yeah, it is like like I texted one of my professors like a happy birthday a few months ago just to be like, I'm thinking of you.
Yeah.
but but also yeah, it's like I was I was very grateful to have mostly a good faculty in the like theater department specifically, but the administration as a whole was like not great.
Yeah. No, I feel the
Has
same. I
happened.
think. I mean, I had a pretty strong relationship with an administrator at my school, and it was basically like I did not want to associate with him after some of the things that he said about the
Yeah.
anti-Zionist protests on the campus.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah,
it's
that
tough.
was similarly what happened at New Paltz, where it was like we got a trying to figure out how much I can say. I mean, it's not like it's public information. We had a new
Yeah.
president who we were all quite hopeful for, and then he it was his first year, the year that the encampment happened, and he made the awful decisions, and we all went, oh, actually, we can't have any kind of hope about this, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is also, I mean, that whole situation was a big catalyst for a lot of what I wrote in this game. Weirdly, not weirdly, I guess, but that sort of this game at that point when that happened was not was not super far into the like writing design process, but it has always very much been about hope and about banding together and yeah, having that hope in the face of awful things happening, which became slightly less explicitly what the game is about ultimately. But the groundwork is there, and I think uh, my friends from New Pulse would probably would if I told them like, oh yeah, I wrote a lot of this after that happened, they would be
Uh-huh.
like, I see what happened here, yeah.
Yeah. It's so interesting how I feel like I don't know why I'm coming at this from such a political angle, but I do think it is like relevant because I think colleges are very political, and
Oh yeah.
they're often the places where like the beginning of a revolution or a civil war or a fascist backlash like happens.
Yeah.
And like I think that there's so much to be said about like the years and years that there's this emphasis from the American right on the stuck up liberal cowardly college student, and it's like
Mhm.
actually, in the face of real adversity, the modern college student like
Right.
stood their fucking ground. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that has to be taken seriously by anyone working in anyone involved in either college like college
Yeah.
administration or politics.
Totally. That was, yeah, very much uh, a point of what am I trying to say? That was something that I thought a lot about when I finally sat back down to write this, because it was this game went through so many different iterations, and then was it's very strongly inspired by the musical Hades Town, less so than Heaven and the Dust, where it
Uh-huh.
literally is, but in the like time loop fashion, and the telling the same story over and over again, and uh, always standing up for what's right over and over again, and doing what you feel is right over and over again. Um, and that was, yeah, that thing about like college students are often at the start of something like that, out of, oh my god, my brain. And also like there's something about um there was something about college that kind of makes you feel a little bit untouchable sometimes, where
Yeah,
you're like, oh, sorry, my dog. She's
it's
fine.
okay.
Okay. Um uh where, yeah, you're like, it's the same thing as when you're like a teenager and you're like, nothing I do matters.
Yeah, absolutely.
um and so yeah, there's it's a I don't, yeah, it's such an interesting experience. And there's also, oh, that there circling back to what I was actually trying to say, um was being a young person and trying to speak up for something that you believe in and not being taken seriously was a big thing that I uh was thinking about a lot. And it's something that was very compelling to me about making it, about zeroing in on it being like college students and young adults. Um, because yeah, it often feels like the only people who will take you seriously are your peers.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and like they're the only people that you can like put trust in that broader sense. Uh, so yeah, that like community building, and the focus on uh like connecting with your peers and everything that I kind of put into this game. A lot of the uh, every playbook in this game has like a thing in it that isn't, at least one that is inspired by a real person that I know and went to college with or grew up
Fuck
with,
yeah.
or like there's a lot of very uh, personal things in here that are not like particularly vulnerable, but are like real lived things that I have experienced and that I've seen people I know experience. Um, because I love a weird setting or a weird like twist on something. Like I love a supernatural or paranormal thing that is very grounded in reality, and
Yeah.
very grounded in like real like humanity. Because yeah, that's what I like about writing like monster stuff, is finding the humanity in them and bringing that out instead of focusing on like the scary things. Um, which is also why I often describe this game as like it's existential horror by way of the setting, but I didn't write any of that into the game.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think there's like so much value in writing a playbook about someone you love. I think that's like such a
Hmm.
I I do it very often. I
Yeah,
I try and write from experience, but like the second best thing is like writing like trying to understand someone's perspective through your writing.
yeah,
Like the fucking delinquent in We Live Forever is based on the person I went to prom with, who fucking transferred to my school because she had a cocaine addiction, um, and everybody in her old school knew, um, and it's interesting how much you can fucking see in people and or at least
yeah,
try, right? Like it's
Yeah,
you learn a lot about someone by trying to write them.
totally. And I definitely had a lot of that. Like there are like there's a playbook in here that is 100% me. Like that's
Mhm.
often the case in things that I write. Also, is there's one that's just like I'm gonna put myself in here and I'm gonna really dissect that. Um, but yeah, there are playbooks in here. Like there's the one that's very me is called The Guardian, and it's about being that sort of like parent friend, um, and also about like taking on the burden in quotes of caring for the people that you know, even though I don't really consider that a burden. It's part of the knowing people.
Yeah.
It came free with your humanity. Like,
Uh-huh.
um, but but yeah, there's also like a playbook that is straight up inspired by like the one of my roommates that I lived with for my entire senior year, who was a couple years younger than me. Um, and like watching him kind of grow into the person that he's becoming has been so delightful. Um, and then like one that is inspired by like multiple again, I was a theater student, but I was not a performer, and I so it is inspired by like the performance students I know who were like so clearly always putting on something. Um, and so yeah, there's a couple of playbooks that are very specifically like there's some that are more broadly like okay, this is a mishmash of things, and it's filling a particular role that I was missing in all of it. But then there are some that are very particularly like I can tell you exactly who this is and how
Yeah.
it happened.
Fuck yeah. That's awesome. Do we want to talk about Zine Month?
Yeah.
Zemo Bibo Babo. Uh,
Zemo.
Let me see if I can get both the backer kit and Kickstarter. Actually, I feel like I only really have a couple things I want to talk about on Kickstarter, and by which I mean one thing. so, do you have anything that you want me to put on here? Because I'll add it. You can send me some links. I have Rise Wizards and All's Fair. I have Snow's Screaming Metal. I have my own Yab bag, which I'll talk about at the end. And I have Tanya Floker's The Thunder Perfect Mind.
Those sound good to me.
Fuck yeah, alright, we will talk about those things. So, Zinetopia on BackerKit and Zine Month on Kickstarter. People in the actual TTRPG culture don't make distinguish, like we are all treating this like Zine Month. It's Zine Month. It's Zine Month for everybody. So, the first thing I want to talk about is Rise Wizards and All's Fair. I think people should back this. I am particularly excited about All's Fair, just in the sense that fucking Dylan was like, yeah, you're going to enjoy this Eclipse. I was like very excited about that.
He did the same thing to me. I was like, this sounds so fun. And Dylan was like, you particularly are going to go crazy for this.
Yeah, the soldier and the clone. God.
Really good.
I
Really
love
good
I love gay sex. It's so cool. But yeah, fucking really good tiers also on this one. Like really fucking affordable. Good for them, and very
good for
cool.
them.
Good for them. All's Fair mentioned. Yeah. And also Rise Wizards seem cool. I like wizards. I like a dice tower.
I love wizards.
I like a map.
Yeah. I've been playing Koriko, A Magical Year.
Okay.
And that also is a witch with a dice tower. And so I'm like, aha, me connecting things that aren't connected.
Fuck yeah. I'm probably gonna wind up backing these after at some point this month, so
Yeah.
I'll keep these tabs open.
Yeah.
The next game that I want to talk about is Screaming Metal Vector Soul by Snow. Snow of Dot Dungeon and other game.
Yes, we just talked about Dot Dungeon on Tabletop Book Club, and we had so much fun. We had so much fun with it.
You talked about the cool new black and white Dot Dungeon, which I'm intrigued to hear about. I might actually listen to that episode after this. That sounds sick.
It's really sick.
Hell yeah. Yeah, fucking mech game.
This is really cool. I'm looking at it for the first time right now.
folks should give this a look. It is also made for Discord Mega Games, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I love girls. I love fucking some good fucking, what do you call it? Touchstones here. Fucking Hypnospace Outlaw.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
That's what I've been meaning to play Hypnospace Outlaw for ages.
It's such a yeah. It's really rather good. It's really a rather good game. I think
That's what I've heard.
the thing about Hypnospace Outlaw is that Jay Tholen has such a deep love for human beings, and it oozes in every part of that game, even when it seems like it's making fun of them. And that's how you know it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing, the Thunder Perfect Mind by Tanya Floker, a cult action thriller. I've been seeing a bit around about this stuff. It seems cool. I like fucking weird psychic shit.
Yeah.
Really fucking striking cover. I know it's a little shallow, but like good shit. It has a soundtrack.
I love that.
And I remember
It is
seeing
a good
the
cover.
yeah, I remember seeing the influences list as well before it came out. And the fucking Twin Peaks is good stuff. Folks should check this out. And then the last thing that I want people to back is bag number one. Or actually, here, let me send Tanya's project first. Bag number one, which is, how are we doing here? 867. Bag number one is a mix of games from You Are Beheld. 6 games. You can look into previews of some of these games on the page. Eventually, my game will be in it as well. I've been so focused on getting the thing actually up and running that I've not put my game in there. Also, Lilith Lilac Leviathan has made a bunch of renders of fucking of this girl of Sacrifice. It's a little low res here. Of Sacrifice in various states of undress. And if you wait, no, don't open Blue Sky up on your hang on one moment. I'm gonna close this first, then open Blue Sky, because it could have been first page like full pornography,
Right.
easily. Yeah, just keep an eye on the quote posts in this thread of quote posts, and you'll enjoy yourself. This girl is gonna strip badly. So, you know, if we hit 100%, something crazy is gonna happen. I actually have not seen the renders yet. I only know the 0 and 25. She hasn't even shown me, and we live in the same house. It's crazy. Anyways, yeah, that's my little fucking self plug and other people plug corner. Zine Month is interesting because it's like I have such complicated feelings because like on a fundamental level, I think like I align very strongly with like the position that folks like Aaron King take, where it's like a zine is supposed to be a kind of ephemeral object that is like made using the resources that you have available to you. But I also like know that, at least on my end, like, you know, being able to do a Zine Month project for the last 3 years has like kept me, you know, afloat financially to some degree, and has like allowed me to make some really fulfilling art in, you know, at a level that's like manageable, considering the audience that I have and the I don't know, it's complicated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's something that I am interested in doing at some point, but first of all, it kind of sneaks up on me every year somehow. I'm always like, oh, I forgot about that, and then it's January, and I go, well, certainly not now. but it is also something. There's something very cool about it to me that is just the fact that it's more of a community event than anything else.
Yeah.
Um, to be like, here's all the cool stuff that we've been working on, and it's like that's very neat to me. Because yeah, I am a big zine guy in the most fundamental sense of the word. Um, I have like a little Ziploc bag full of different zines that I've collected over the years. Um, and my physical copies of Conflict of Interest when I made it were literally like printer paper rubber band around them.
Fuck
Um,
yeah.
like the most it was me using up all of my printing balance and multiple friends printing balances right before I went away for the summer
Oh,
up at school.
bless.
Um, to print like my full black like white text on black pages on on the college dime, um, as one should. So yeah, I'm a very like I love uh, a very handcrafted zine, but I also do love the, the I mean Plus One EXP is like zine club thing where it's not a it's just like a stapled book, um, but it's still this like high quality published thing. Uh, but I think I do agree with the uh, fully lost what I was saying at all.
It's okay.
Completely was like, where am I? Um,
I'm following.
where yeah, I love the value of a handcrafted little thing that you get from someone. There was someone at PAX U this year that uh made a mini zine in front of BNI by like tearing the paper and not cutting
Fuck
it
yes.
neatly, and that was sick. I was like, I love that.
Yeah, that's
And I
hot.
love, I for the past couple years have done little mini zines instead of business cards. Like I love there's something about a zine that is so good, and tactile and fun, and imperfect. So I
I
think
am
yeah, I
I'm
agree
behind
with
on the
that
oh sorry.
sentiment. But no, you're fine.
Yeah, sorry. I'm behind on this, but one of the $100 tier for Dracotrification was and still is. I just need to get them out, or I need to get them made and then get them out because we've had some delays in the actual like production. But
Mhm.
a black and white version of the zine that I have like personally like labored over and put a bunch of doodles into.
Mhm.
That's like on like fucking staple printer paper. um,
Awesome.
so I think that'll be really fun. I'm gonna mail those out once they're done. There's like I think 10 people who got them, maybe 15. It's been a bit. But I cleared out my desk space recently, so I can actually do that. It'll be really fun.
That's awesome. I love
Yeah.
that. I love the personalization that can be done with something like that too is so fun. Um, yeah, there was I just remember that like some of the first friends that I handed copies of Conflict of Interest to in person had me there's a in Conflict of Interest there's a drawing that I did of two people holding hands and they're wearing like white, shirts. Uh and it's just like shoulders down kind of. It's like a half bust or like middle
Right.
middle of the body. Um and had me sign on uh like did the like the rockstar thing of like sign my tits. It was that but on the drawing and that was really
Really
fun.
good.
It was
That's
very
that's
silly.
really funny.
Um and it really made me laugh and we did that like in some some noodle shop in New York City. Like just
Fuck
so
yeah.
there's such a fun personalization and a handmade quality that I just love. I love that.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I do think there is a difference between a zine game like that and a mini zine game and something that is, you order the books from somewhere, and they're a little more production quality to it. But it's still a zine. It's just a little different. It's heightened.
Yeah. It's its own thing. I feel like
It's
it's
its
a
own thing
small
that I
book.
don't quite have a word for.
Yeah. It's a fucking I don't know what you would call it. But yeah, no, it is interesting. I feel like I gotta like I got really what I need to do is like try and just make a zine that's like a game thing that is a physical object that I only like that I just give to some people. Um,
Yeah.
and I think then I'll feel like I've kind of you know traveled every road. with regard to that.
Yeah, this past year at PAX, B and I also did. B wrote a game called Food Fight,
Okay.
which is a quick dueling, like two-player dueling game, based on you scroll through like a food delivery app and you base little characters off of meals that you find.
Okay.
Um, it's extremely good, and I basically begged them to let me make it a mini zine to hand out at PAX, and they did let me. So I put together, yeah, I did the layout and art for like a little mini zine version of it that we handed out to people at PAX this year, and it was so fun to have not just our little, mini zine business cards, but also a little mini zine game to like pass out to people and be like, this is the thing that we do. And I think it is also on itch, but it is so important to me that we have little copies of it that we just handed out before it was anywhere else, really. Made it very special.
Hell yeah.
We sat in B's living room the night before PAX folding all of them. Like it's so delightful.
Yeah, yeah. There's something like really kind of sweet about like doing the physical work of that.
Yeah.
I
It was also
remember.
my sorry, also my mom printed them out at her job. Like it
Oh
was
my
all very
god,
like
that's
very
awesome.
cute.
I remember when I was in college and like running. So I had a significant role in the LGBTI for a number of years at my college, which was
Mhm.
interesting.
Mhm.
And we did a drag show one year, and I remember just like having a room full of people fucking folding and stapling these playbills because like none of us had ever done that before.
Yeah.
And it's yeah, there is something really like sweet about that level of personalization.
Yeah. I in college also was so I was a women's gender and sexuality studies minor at a at a liberal arts school, a very
Okay.
queer liberal arts school. So it was a very it was a really interesting few classes that I took, but a lot like multiple of my classes, the final was like make a zine about the
Oh.
about the concepts that we have talked about, but also just like how they relate to you and and what they bring out in you. And it was always a very interesting thing because it feels like kind of a cop out, but there's such a foundation of that in the things that we were studying. And it was always such a nice thing for me as a like creative person and also as a like a very emotional person to be like, I don't have to sit here and put a bit of distance between myself to write a paper about all these research things. I get to make this book that I can hand around to people and say, here is how this relates to me, and here's how I see myself in what we've looked at here, and here's how it relates to all of us. And it's a very cool and personal thing, also. That was a very interesting experience to have.
Yeah, yeah. What you're saying is making me think of when my bachelor's is in journalism, and I remember like my journalism professor, one of the people who I still in touch with,
Mhm.
at one point was like showing a story or a news story that he wrote. I think when he was in like Argentina, he's like a very like ensayista, like fucking hardcore South American journalist guy.
Mhm.
And the story like contained elements of his experience of being in this environment. It was very first person.
Mhm.
And I remember COVID happened as I was TAing for his class, the I think semester after I had I had been taught in the class, and so
Mhm.
one of the students had basically had to like pick up and leave due to COVID, and like live in an
Mhm.
RV for a bit. I don't remember the exact
Mhm.
details, but I remember that student like presented their work, and like I was talking because I didn't understand that, I didn't get it. So I
Mhm.
was talking to my professor, and I was like, this isn't in the form that we want these things to be in. And he was like, no, it's great. Like, you know, she's talking about her experience of this, like, fucking world-changing event. And that was when I got it. That was when I understood, like, oh,
Yeah.
This guy is teaching this class because he needs to make money. And, like, he's trying to live a normal life. But really, like, journalism should not be structured like this. Journalism, you know, utterly, you know, kind of removing yourself from the picture. Or maybe, like, it doesn't have to be structured like this, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that, point being, I think there's a lot of value in personalizing the work that you do, the academic work that you do, because otherwise you just lose yourself in it. You become, you become the words, you become the simple facts.
I had an interesting experience in a class where I spent a lot of time. The faculty member that I was talking about earlier, who I'm still in very close contact with, really specializes in Shakespeare, and they were my favorite, so I studied a lot of Shakespeare in college. But I took one class that was a Shakespeare class that was like an English class, so it was a professor I had never met before or taken a class with, and a class full of people I did not know, and it was so different than every theater class I'd taken, because it was not. I was struggling in that class because I was reading it like theater, and they were reading it like a book, and it was such an interesting, like, eye-opening thing to me to be like, oh, we are having fundamentally different experiences of reading the same thing, because of how we've been taught to read it. And then there was also, like, there was I remember this recently, so it's kind of top of mind because it was ridiculous, but we did a staged reading of a Shakespeare that I was the production stage manager for, and this professor was offering extra credit to anyone who went and saw it. And I went, well, I'm working on it.
Oh my
so
god.
Can I get extra credit? And he said no. He said,
oh my god.
I said, cool. I said, cool.
That's insane.
And I just remembered that because it was, it's kind of the polar opposite thing of, like, I was trying to meet him where I was trying to meet him where I was at, where I was like, hey, you don't really understand what I am studying or what I'm talking about. But you're offering this to all of your students who are not involved in any way, just to like sit there. And I don't think anyone even had to write anything about it, if memory serves. Like, I was like, this is so interesting.
Crazy.
Crazy. Because every, theater class I'd ever taken was like, yeah, whatever, man. I don't who cares? Because also, I was not, I'm sure conservatory programs or more intense programs are not like that, but I went to a liberal arts college, so.
Yeah, shit. Okay, now you're just making me think about little fucking complaints I've had about professors over the years. So, like, I had this creative writing professor who was, like, mostly pretty good and, like, mostly, like, pretty supportive of my work. But I wrote this, like, fantasy story, this like, sci fantasy thing, and the characters ate bagels in the beginning, because it's interesting that they're eating bagels, right? Like, because it's a cool thing it's like, oh shit, they're just like eating bagels. That's cool. And she was like, I don't know, I prefer when there's like, or not even I prefer, it was like a hard, like, you really like shouldn't have like real cultural things, or like not real cultural things. It was like, you shouldn't have real life things in your fantasy story. It takes me out of the story. And like, I didn't say this then, but what I would say now is like, we accept like leavened, like it's like almost anti-Semitic in some ways, because it's like we accept like, like a loaf of like hard crusty bread, you would not even you would not even be disturbed by it. And that's why Sapphic World is like mostly like just, I don't care. I'm referencing shit all the time. They got fucking computers and phones, and you can eat a delicious bagel meal and a pizza. Yeah. And you can go to the castle too.
Yeah. I love stuff like that. Cause like, even if it does take you out of it, like let go of that for a second. Let it take you out of it for a second, and then go, okay, I accept this as part of the world, and then move on. Like, it's not. You can have I wasn't expecting that without it ruining your entire perception of it.
Why was I taken out of this? Oh, interesting. Okay, I'm gonna continue reading.
Yeah, moving on. Like,
Moving on.
it's okay.
Yeah. Um, hell yeah. Folks in chat, if you would like to send a question, please do so. Feel free to do so in chat or via email. Otherwise, I think I'll just ask the question that I usually ask. Let me bring Apocrypha in. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about on this episode that we have not touched on? Oh, we like talked about some stuff. I don't know if you want to talk about this thought that you were having
I was
about
gonna say, do
solo
you want to talk
RPGs
about
and
it?
safety. I would love to hear your take in more
Yeah.
fullness, and then kind of
Yeah.
riff on that for a bit.
Yeah, no. So as I mentioned earlier, I've been playing Quirko: A Magical Year, which is a incredible game. I think I posted something on Blue Sky like related to this where I was like, I'm probably so late to this, but it's so good that I have to say something about it. And I think I would like to do it for Tabletop Book Club at some point. But I am a really big solo game enjoyer, and I'm recently leaning into that even more because I had the realization actually at PAX this past year that I don't have people in my like real physical life that I ever get to play games with, which has been the case for almost as long as I've been into games. Uh, so anytime I buy a physical copy of a game, I almost never get to use it because I'm always like, if I'm playing online, I'm going to use a PDF. Like I'm not going to pull out the book. So I realized at PAX this past year, let me just buy solo games because then I can play them.
Yeah, you can
And
actually play
Gorgo is
them.
not that. Gorgo is not that. I only have it on PDF, but I would like to have a physical copy of it. But this past year at PAX, I bought so many solo games that I'm so excited about. Um, but Gorgo, I started playing it uh, like a year ago probably, and I only got through like the introductory before you actually get to the city. Um, but I had a like designated physical journal for it that I was decorating with like stickers and different color pens and stuff, and I'm having a lot of fun with that part of it. First of all, because
Yes.
I love making something into a physical work of art. I love collage work, so I've been like doing little collage things in there. It's so fun, and it also lets me like get into that headspace more because you're playing as a teenage witch, and I'm like, my little teenage witch would love to have a little journal to decorate. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that part of it, but it's also been a really good exercise for me because I'm someone who, despite loving tabletop games and enjoying playing them, I always get really nervous when I play because I am not a good. I get in my head about like not being a good improviser of things, and I am very much someone who is always worried that I'm not making the right decision in a game, and it's
Yeah.
something that I like am actively working against all the time. And so playing a solo game for me has been so helpful in going, actually the only person this is affecting is me, and so if I write something silly, it doesn't matter. Like it's actually so okay. So it's been a fun way to reframe that in my brain. It's also been so interesting to see the things that it has brought out of my like subconscious of things that I am thinking about or that I like telling stories about, or things that are like top of mind for me. Because Koriko, pretty explicitly at the beginning of it, is like this game does not touch really on the like endangerment of this teenager who is going to a city alone without a plan
Right.
for somewhere to stay. Like it doesn't really touch on that super explicitly as a like thing in the text. But what came up a lot for me was not I also was not delving into really the details of that, but I have created this sort of world of the person that now my witch is living with runs like a shelter for youth, for homeless youth. And that is not something that was in the game. It's something that I came up with, and it's also something that
Yeah.
like has hinted at a little bit in the game, but is never explicitly laid out in that way. And it's been a lot of exploring like what queerness looks like in a city because I also went like and how that differs from a small town queer experience, which also is very top of mind for me because I am currently living in a small town where I don't really know any other queer people, but I often go to the city to see all my gay friends, like
Right. Yeah.
and kind of exploring for for my little, sheltered teenage witch, like what it looks like to now be able to meet people who are also queer and trans, and like how that has affected their experience. So yeah, it's that sort of breaking down these walls of things that I would be either worried to tackle with other people at a table, or that would make me nervous to talk about with other people at a table. Which then also is like, why would that make me nervous to discuss? And what kind of what was I trying to say? I've also been just very intrigued by safety tools in games as of late, because the more that I get entrenched in games and games as a form of storytelling, the more I'm like, actually do kind of want to touch on things that I deal with, like queerphobia in my life.
Yeah.
And there is definitely like a time and place for like games that are completely escapist, or it's like, I want to play. Sometimes you do just want to play a trans gay person who isn't dealing with it all, Like
Right. Yeah.
sometimes you just want to be like, and this is a beautiful little escapist world that we don't really have to deal with it. And a lot of the games that I've played in the past have been like that. But the more that I play games, and the more that I run games, and also the more that I talk to my friends who have dealt with like different identities than mine, I'm like, we
Yeah.
actually should be able to just confront these things at a table and trust each other to handle them with care, even if it's not perfect. And especially if it's not perfect, like still having that caring and that patience and grace. But also, my sort of core tenet that I've now leaned on when I run games, which is not very often. I'm not a I'm not a very confident GM, but is I will not bring up anything unless. But if a player who is affected by that and wants to unpack it, wants to bring it up, they are welcome to bring it up in a game.
Yeah.
Which my like touchstone example for that was when my actual playlist has been lost to time because Spotify took it down.
Damn.
Yeah, it happens. A few years ago, for conflict of interest, I produced a like two-shot actual play called Lavender Scare. It was
Okay.
a conflict of interest and fiasco kind of mashed together into a game, where four of my friends played spies during the Lavender Scare, and they were all obviously queer characters. And my dear friend Jamie, who is a black woman, was playing a black woman character, and even like, I don't want to say even though, because I don't discourage this, but we had pretty much said like, despite the setting, we mostly want to focus on like the characters interacting with each other, and so there's not going to be a whole lot of mention of bigotry in general.
Right.
Which I probably would handle a little bit differently now. I'd probably be like, no, actually, we should probably talk about it more.
Yeah.
But Jamie made the very smart choice in an argument with actually Finch's character, who was like white, blonde, trans mask, like very well respected in the job that they were in. Like made the smart choice to be like, well, you're also being treated that way because you're white. And like we did not touch on it any more than that. It was just like a statement that was made that we all were like, well, of course, and then we moved on. And it was like, that's sometimes it's just the acknowledgement, like it's just the acknowledgement
Yeah.
of like saying the quiet part out loud, saying, yeah, this is what's happening here. And yeah, it's also just like every time I make a trans character in a game, it is difficult for me to imagine a world where they have not dealt with some form of transphobia.
Right. Absolutely.
Like it's and this is something that I talked a lot about in classes I took and stuff like that. I took a class in college called Gender Utopias, where we talked about different like worlds we could create, and the way that utopia is talked about in fiction and speculative fiction in general. And a lot of the time there's this sort of shallow question of like, what would a world without racism look like? What would a world where
Right.
everyone is accepted look like? And it's like, well, I actually can't really imagine that in a fundamental way because we're not there.
Yeah, it would look
So
fundamentally
many
different.
things would, so, yeah, so many things would be different. Um, that it's like, we can play pretend and we can imagine a world, but it's going to look fundamentally different than what we live in now. Where yeah, if I'm making a transmass character, I'm like, well, he is experiencing the things that I've experienced, which includes transphobia. Like, it's very on a very basic level. Where even if we never unpack it in a game, it's like, well, it is something that they would have experienced. And so yeah, being able to play a game on my own where I don't have to tiptoe around things, and I don't have to worry about if something I'm gonna say is gonna make someone uncomfortable or is gonna cross a line, even though I'm not doing anything crazy in there.
Yeah.
It's on a very basic level of just like unpacking the things that I am thinking about that I didn't realize I was thinking about, and it's been very enjoyable for me, and I definitely want to play some more intense solo games that do kind of unpack those things a little more explicitly. But I'm
Yeah,
enjoying
it's a
my
great
I'm
place to
enjoying
do it.
my little wit now. It's a great place to do it, and I am not someone who journals as a person who I am,
Mhm.
because I don't get in the habit of it. Even though I probably should, I think I would get a lot out of that. But this has sort of been a good little mini version of that for me to go. Let me escape into this world, but also think about some things that I'm thinking about. Anyway,
Hell yeah.
um,
Uh, yeah, I feel like I had a similar experience actually. I probably said explicitly that this is what I was doing around when it happened. There was a point in time where I was like just this fucking like hot gnarled ball of thorns where like I when I would like have any kind of sex with someone, I would like um I wouldn't know what I wanted, and it would be
mhm,
like, and I didn't know what I didn't want. I didn't know my boundaries, and I didn't know my desires, and like,
yeah,
I just started like playing a variety of like erotic role playing games solo,
yeah,
just to kind of like get a sense of myself, and I kind of
yeah,
came back to it like with better adjusted and more of a sense of what I wanted.
yeah,
And so yeah, I think there's like so much space. Like, I think there's so much space for understanding your boundaries and understanding safety through, as you
yeah,
say, solo games. Because of that, because it's a place where you can like fucking like because you are never going to like touch yourself in a way that's gonna hurt you. Not to be crude about it, but
yeah.
right.
No, yeah. I mean, that's correct. Like that's totally it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it is a. I definitely am also someone who, in general, has trouble knowing what I want in something and what I don't want out of something. When
Yeah.
asked like explicitly, I often am like, I don't know, and this has been helpful for that as well. To be like, because the way that Koriko works also is it's split up into seasons, and you're drawing from a deck of tarot cards, but you build your own deck at the beginning of like your own mini deck at the beginning of every season based on like the themes that you want to explore. And so that has also been very helpful on a very basic level of going, well, these cards have this tone, and I really like that. I really like one of them is like community, and so much of my game has been about the community that sort of my witch has found in the city, and so I keep coming back to that and pulling at different parts of it, and it's really uh, a very effective mechanic for getting someone comfortable doing something like that. It's a very good. I would say if you haven't played a lot of solo games, it's a really long one to get into for a first one, but it's really really great.
I gotta
I
give it a
found it very
look.
enjoyable.
Seems cool.
It's really really interesting.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I'm not seeing any questions, so I think we're gonna wrap it up there. Is there
All
any?
right.
I've been posting your links throughout, but is there anywhere else that you excuse me anywhere else that you want folks to give a look?
I'm At Burks Travis pretty much everywhere. So you can find me pretty much anywhere. B A oh let me spell. Hang on. BARCSTRAVIS on any platform that you would need to find me. I also am currently producing. Our production got pushed back a little, but I'm still going to promote it. A video series called First Blood, parentheses on the clock tower, where I'm producing it with my dear friend and ex-roommate who also inspired some stuff from Begin Again, Kay, who loves Blood on the Clock Tower and is very familiar with it. I'm less familiar with it, and we have a group of like 10 players who know next to nothing about it, and we're all going to kind of learn it together. It's meant to be very beginner friendly, both for the players and for the audience. It probably at this point will not come out for another couple months, but we're working behind the scenes on it. I'm really excited about it. It's a really fun group of folks. You can just follow me at Barks Travis for more information about it, because I did make a Blue Sky, but there's nothing on there yet, so don't worry about it.
You'll learn about it. It'll happen.
You'll figure it out. You'll hear about it when it happens.
All right. We're gonna raid Fran Opossum, who is playing Space Station 14, and goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Remember, if you don't like what you see, you can change it. It's up to you, really. Goodbye, good luck. Fans!